and welcome to Long Live the Queen, where we talk about the women who made history. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it's just me. Today we're going to talk about Saint Isabelle, Princess of France.
One day we will be remembered.
Princess Isabelle was born the year of our Lord 1225 in March. She was the first surviving daughter of her parents, King Louis VIII, Louis the Lion, of France, and Queen Blanche, formerly Infanta Blanca of Castile, who has her own episode. At her birth, she joined her 5 older brothers, 10-year-old Louis, Dauphin of France, 8-year-old Prince Robert, 5-year-old Prince Jean, 4-year-old Prince Alphonse, and 2-year-old Prince Philippe. Isabelle was the first child of her parents to be born after her grandfather died and her father had become King Louis VIII, Louis the Lion. When Isabelle was about 1.5, she was joined by a little sister, Etienne. Then there was a rapid progression in Isabelle's young life. When she was 2 years old, her father died. Shortly after losing her father, her mother had her last baby, Prince Charles. And not long after, her 1-year-old sister, Princess Etienne, died. She was likely too young to remember most of this, but it had to play a major part in shaping her formative life. Her father and only sister had died, and there was a new baby, and her mother was fairly busy being the queen regent for Isabelle's 12-year-old brother, the new king. The king is dead. Long live the king. The new king was Isabella's 12-year-old brother, King Louis IX, a.k.a. Saint Louis. He was canonized as a saint 27 years after his death. It was at this time that the 2-year-old only surviving sister of the king was betrothed to 6-year-old Hugh, the eldest son of a count. This kind of just seems like bookkeeping to me. Future for Princess Isabelle planned. Check. Now let's focus on her 6 brothers. They were the main characters. The betrothal was broken less than a decade later when Isabelle refused to consent to the marriage, probably around the age of 12. Parents could legally betroth their young children, but betrothals that happened before the age of consent of 12 would have to be consented to upon reaching the age of consent. Of course, most 12-year-olds just did what their parents requested and consented. But Isabelle did not do that. Imagine being 12 and being able to stand up to your entire family and say, no, I'm not going to get married right now. And better yet, they respected her wishes to dedicate her life to God. Marriage or God, that was the option, and she chose Jesus. Reportedly, even as a young girl, she was heavily invested in praying and fasting. She took quickly to Latin. Dedicating her life to God seemed to fit her personality well. She didn't, however, take her nun's vows. A second attempt was made to marry her off to the son of the Holy Roman Emperor. Maybe the future count just wasn't impressive enough, and pressure was placed on the young princess by nearly everyone to accept. Even the Pope tried to sway her, but nope, she refused that marriage too. It was her and God to the end. Jesus take the wheel. Isabelle, now 30 and still with God, wanted to start a community of nuns. She wanted to live with her people. Sometimes you just want to be with the people that get you. Her brother, the king, agreed and started to gather support, funds, and lands to help his sister with her passion project. He was, after all, Saint Louis, or Louis IX. The next year, the first stone was laid for Isabelle's convent. The convent was named the Convent of the Humility of the Blessed Virgin. So, fun times. After the death of her mother, Isabelle retired to this convent, still a virgin, still not a nun. She suffered health problems. I'm not sure what, but her whole life, she had health problems that kept her from becoming a nun. And she lived separately from the sisters and retained her wealth, so good for her. But she lived as the nuns did. She didn't live lavishly and often turned down food that was too rich, preferring to dine on more meager rations. At every meal she sat down to, she made sure to invite the poor to join her. Princess Isabelle kept the discipline of silence for most of every day. Princess Isabelle died on the 23rd of February, 1270, just before her 45th birthday. But wait, there's more. Her body was buried and then exhumed 9 days later, reportedly showing no sign of decay, and miracles started happening next to her gravesite. 250 years after her death, Pope Leo X allowed the abbey to celebrate her feast day. She was canonized as Saint Isabelle 426 years after her death by Pope Innocent in 1696. St. Isabelle's feast day is the 26th of February. She is the patron saint of the sick. Her brother, St. Louis's feast day, August 25th. Her abbey was suppressed in the French Revolution. In 1794, the empty building was offered for sale, but as no one wanted to purchase it, it was destroyed. In 1857, the remaining walls were pulled down, except for one tower, and the land was incorporated into the Bois de Boulogne. And that is where we'll leave it for now. What did you think of Saint Isabelle, Princess of France? We don't have a lot of information about her. Her passion for God seemed to be her whole life, but I give her props for being able to, at such a young age, stand up to kings, queens, and popes advocating for herself. She must have been really strong. Fun fact, today is Plow Monday. If you were a farmer in the Middle Ages, and you probably were, today would be Plow Monday. Today is the first Monday after Epiphany, or as you may remember it, the 13th day of Christmas. Plow owners would bring their plows to church to be blessed for the upcoming year. Some churches would be decorated with plows, so even if you weren't a plow owner, you could still participate. Now, I don't get it, but I love a holiday, so I think I could have gotten into it if given the chance. I'd like to shout out my patron Serenity. Welcome to the Patreon. You can share your thoughts with me or request your own shout out at longlivethequeenpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Long Live the Queen Podcast. Long live to all the queens out there, and until next time, bye.
Will be remembered.
Thanks for listening.